If you are learning HTML and CSS, this project will level you up fast. In this video, we will code the Uganda flag from scratch, step by step, and by the end, you will see how creative CSS can really be. So, in this video, we shall create a base container with HTML, add horizontal strips for black, yellow, and red, then use grid and position to align our items onto the page, add a circular white center with a border radius, and lastly, add a crane image within that white center. So, let's start coding. Okay, now let us talk about the requirements we are going to need to do this project or to work out this project. Basically, we need a code editor. So in this case, we are going to use VS Code. Then the other thing is that you need a web browser to see your output. So when you write your codes in VS Code, you need a web browser, say Chrome or Firefox or Edge, to view your code, as in to view your output, how it will actually look like. Then the other thing is that you may need a live server. So you go to the extensions tab, then you search for live server. So you install this live server. So for it will help you to reload your web page the moment you finish saving. It reloads it automatically, as you're going to see as you're coding. So I have already created my folder onto my desktop and I opened it with VS Code. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the Explorer. So you see that my file is called Uganda Flag. So in that folder, there is a PNG image. So this image is for the crane that we shall put in the middle of our flag. Then let me go ahead and create two files, one CSS and the other one HTML. So the CSS will be the design or the stylings, and the HTML will work as the skeleton or the framework for our project. So let me create a file called index.html. Then let me also create a file called style.css. So let me recorrect this. So it's style.css. So these are our files that are created. So now what we are going to do is, let us collapse this. Then let me close this. Then let us come into the index.html. Now let us create a boilerplate code for HTML. So in order to get it, it's already in VS Code. What you do, you press the exclamation mark onto your keyboard. I don't know which key you're having, but you use that exclamation mark and you get these two options. So basically, we select the one on top with a single exclamation mark. But if you do not get these options, for example, if you press the exclamation mark and you don't get something like this, for example, it remains like this without those options, you check at this point. If you don't have HTML selected, just click there and you come here, then you just search for HTML and you select. If you do not have it selected, but now for us it's already selected. So what I'm going to do, let me first remove it, then let me press it, then enter. Now let us change the title. So this is a boilerplate code for HTML, as in it's the standard way of coding, whereby you'll find that they'll give you the doc type HTML, the root element, the head, then the body. So let us change the title, because we are creating now a Uganda flag. Now this is the purpose of the live server. So instead of going into our folder, then we'll open the file, we are just going to run it from here. So I'll just go live. So it will load. For me right now I'm using the Microsoft Edge, but you can use any browser based on your interest. So this is the title for our page, Uganda flag. Now let us go exactly in between of the body tag. So we are going to go exactly here. So let me click enter. First of all, we are going to create a container to store all our strips or the divs that we are going to create, because we are going to use the divisions to create those strips like the black, yellow, and red. So I'm going to create a container. So I'll create a division for that container with a class container. Then inside that div that we have just created, I'm going to create another div with a class name called box plus the color name it will contain. For example, this one will contain black. Then I'll press enter. So what we are going to do, remember these are going to be empty divisions, so there will be no content. So I'm going to just duplicate this division we have just created 2 times. So let me do that. Then what we are going to do, I'm going to only change this color name. So this will be black, yellow. Then this will be red. Right now we cannot see anything onto our page. But now when we go to the CSS file, remember now, before even we go to that CSS file, let us first connect it onto the HTML file. So I'll go exactly here in the title. Then I'll press enter. Then I'll do the link. Then I select this one where there is CSS. So they will tell me this is a relationship for a cell sheet. Then the H reference or the hypertext reference, it's the style.css. So this is the file name. So it's this name you gave your file. So if you called your file another thing, I will expect that name you provided to be the name which will be here. Let me do this, which will be here. So let us now test if it's actually working. Right, let me go to my CSS file. Then I select the body now. Let me try testing the background color of the body now. Maybe to red. So you see that it's actually working. But now our main interest is, let me first remove this. First of all, remember we have created the 3 divs. So we are going to select these divs basing on the box at first. So I'm going to base on this class. So I'll come and I will do dot box. So first of all, I am going to set the height and the width of that box. For example, I'm going to set the height to be 70 pixels. Then I will set the width. So I'm going to set the width to be 600 pixels onto our screen. So at this point, you cannot see anything because we have not yet colored the divs. So what we are going to do, remember, still in our HTML, we have still the first div is called black at the point. So I'm going to use this black class name to select it. So let me go back and I'm going to call black. First of all, I'm going to set the background color to black. So it will be there. So this is the first div we have created. But remember, we are having, let me see, the other 2 divs, yellow and red. So what we are going to do, I'm going to just copy this. Then I just duplicate it 2 times. Then I'm going to change this to yellow plus the color. Then I'll change this one to red. Alright, so far we have got the 3 strips, but remember, the flag is composed of 6 strips, black, yellow, and red, so black, yellow, and red. So what we are going to do, it's all about, we are going to come to our HTML file, and we just duplicate this. So you can copy them, then exactly after the last div, which is the red one, then you paste them again. So now you will be having your 6 divs, the black, yellow, and red, black, yellow, and red. So now remember that in the Uganda flag, there is always that white center. So the white center that contains the flag, it's always white in color. So what we are going to do, we're going to create another div. We give it a class name, white. Then I press enter. So at this point, you won't see anything, but now let us target this white div with its class name white. So let me come. I'm going to do dot white to target the div. Remember, this is our class name. So now remember that this white div has to cover 2 of these strips. So it's always in the middle exactly at this point. And each div is made up of 70 pixels in terms of height. So when I combine the 2, I come up with 140 pixels. So I'm going to set the height to 140 pixels and the width is still to 140 pixels. And I'm going to set the background color. Let me first use maybe another color that is not exactly white, because it's at this point where we're already having white color. So maybe let us use brown for now. So you see that it will come here. But remember now, our main interest is to make it circular. Then we move it exactly at this point. So what we are going to do, we are going to set the border radius for it. To be 50%. So 50% would automatically make it a circle. So this is how it will look like. Then we are going to go further. Remember, we are going to move this brown division. Then we take it exactly in the center. So what we are going to do, we are going to set its position to relative. Then after that, I'm going to set, I'll call it the left and bottom. So I'm going to set the left to 230 pixels. So it will move exactly in the center. Then I am going to set the bottom to 280 pixels to move it up into the center. So now it's at this point where we actually need it. So what we are going to do, we are going to change this color. Now to white, remember it has to be in a white color. Sorry. Like this. So we are having our white center in the middle. Now let us go to our HTML file. Remember, we need to put now a crane image exactly in this position. So what we are going to do, remember now, we are inside this white div. So we want to put something inside the white div. So I'm going to go exactly at this point. Then I press enter. Then I'll use the image tag. Let me first provide an alternate value. So this is crane to store our crane image. So the source is crane.png. So you see that it will come, but it will be bigger. So what we are going to do, let us go to our CSS file and we style it again. Now, what we are going to do, I'm going to target the image. First of all, I'm going to set its height. Remember now, our division, as in from here up to here, it's 140 pixels. So I'm going to set it to 140 pixels. So it will exactly fit. Then I'm going to set the border radius to try centering it in the middle. So I'm going to use 50%. So you would not notice any change, but in no sense, if you had something that wasn't in the right shape, this border radius would help you exactly center it in the middle. So this is our Uganda flag, and I think now you can code it on your own. If you want more flag designs, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you get notified when we upload new videos.